I've been asked to complete a short video about where Responsible Campers Association, RCAI, stands in regards to the lobbying and advocacy for freedom campers in New Zealand. RCAI has always been focused on personal level camping, not on the rental RV industry or holiday park industry. We continue our calls for an inquiry into freedom camping, as well as to set an independent, potentially government-led advisory group to advise councils and other stakeholders about what they can and cannot do under the freedom camping legislation. Minister Nash has put forward some very good proposals. Some, like the compulsory self-containment certification of the rental RV fleet, were actually recommended by RCAI. However, some, like the making of rental companies responsible for high-risk offences around freedom camping, are fraught with problems. In the case of making others responsible for the offences of others, that can never be justified in a democratic society, at any time, under any circumstances. Our real concerns, however, revolve around the amount of non-compliant fines which are being issued by councils around freedom camping. Many are non-compliant with the legislation. Issues such as failing to be certified self-contained are one of the big issues which campers are constantly finding themselves being fined for, and yet it is not compliant with the intent of the Freedom Camping Act, as has been clarified by the High Court in Blenheim. RCAI notes that Minister Nash's latest proposals were released a month prior to the High Court decision. The High Court has somewhat unwittingly clarified a number of matters around freedom camping, things like the need to comply with the intent of legislation, or the need to consult with the public when making or changing bylaws. As well, the High Court has actually stated that problems must be proven. I'll repeat that. The High Court has clarified that problems must be proven. Currently, the freedom camping legislation allows councils to address a perceived problem. The High Court disagrees, and we agree with the High Court in that matter. As such, many issues around freedom camping have failed to comply with the most basic of legislated requirements, and therefore the issuing of fines is often found to be unlawful. It is unfortunate that neither Minister Nash nor the Ministry of Business, of Innovation and Employment have seen the High Court decision as a need to re-elevate Minister Nash's proposals. Thus, RCAI's call for an inquiry into freedom camping and an advisory committee continue. While it would be great to see a reset into freedom camping, that is not going to be achieved by giving legal status to or pushing the same solutions which have failed for the past 30 years, nor will giving the same organisation that is largely responsible for those failures the sole voice of freedom campers in government working groups and forums, the same groups who would oppose the attendance of any other group who they know will not support their narratives and agendas. The catch cries of Minister Nash about freedom campers pulling over to the side of the road and using it as a toilet, or peeping in waterways, are little more than emotive cries to tug at people's heartstrings. Such cries are usually yelled when people have a lack of any knowledge or any support or evidence to support the agendas or the narratives to which they are pushing. Even our Prime Minister last week made similar claims on Channel 10 Australia yelling, "There will be no defecation on the streets," without realising the law, as it currently stands, actually provides a defence to actually doing that. And that the recommendations that she was responding to was to actually strengthen the criteria and legislation for that defence. Meantime, the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment's advice to Minister Nash is that due to a low point of evidence of irresponsibility and insufficient data of need, they have low to moderate confidence in his proposals being passed, or even solving the issues to which he seeks to address. Issues like promoting businesses for holiday parks are not reasons for law changes. The fitted toilets and RVs even meet the government's sustainability goals, noting that it will result, not maybe, but it will result in bigger vehicles being used for freedom camping throughout New Zealand, with all the resulting issues. So what's actually wrong with sleeper vans, as long as those people who are using them are responsible in managing their waste? The use of toilet tents with smaller RVs is very good and a very practical solution. Unfortunately, the changes to the voluntary self-containment standard in 2017, funded by a private organisation to allow the use of toilet tents, was driven by an agenda, not as a solution. It is the people who are the problem, not the mode. We note that the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment have recently stated that tent campers are not a problem. Why not? They can't be certified as self-contained. Those RVs that can be certified self-contained are a minority group in freedom camping, probably less than 20%. It is perhaps unfortunate for Minister Nash that the excellent proposals he has put forward are likely to fail through the select committee processes due to his unjustified and unevidenced blaming of freedom campers generally. It is again unfortunate we have a situation where unproven solutions, and in some cases already failed solutions, are preventing discussion around solving the real and evidenced problems of freedom camping. RCAI was able to provide the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment a cost breakdown into self-containment versus certified self-containment. We noted self-containment being the basic ability to manage your waste, involving a camp toilet, a couple of waste containers for grey liquid waste and a couple of rubbish bags, can be achieved for less than $200. Well, certified self-containment, with the need of fitted kitchen sinks, tanks, etc., runs into many thousands of dollars. One responsible camper has recently told me the cost to change his toilet from a camp portable type toilet to a fitted toilet cost him just under $1,300. Meantime, for many, the self-containment standard fails to meet their requirements or far exceeds the requirements of what they need. For us on a personal level, we do not need a kitchen sink. We do not cook in our camper van. So we have no need for a kitchen sink or related equipment like grey water tanks, etc. And in that regard, we are not alone. RCAI has done polls which have suggested that certified self-containment suits less than 25% of people who could be certified self-contained. In summary, in New Zealand we have freedom camping problems unique to us as a country, and one has to wonder why. An inquiry will serve to discover why, as well as better inform our politicians who, well, frankly, appear clueless Do our politicians even know there's an established defence to defecating in public? Maybe, just maybe, that's where changes need to start from, and strengthen the criteria for the defence for doing exactly that. We can't stop it. It is, after all, human nature. But let's eliminate the offensive aftermath of having done it.